Okay, so this is a review for the ES futures for 23 of January. So this is the overnight high, overnight low, previous day high, previous day low, and this is the closing price. We can see that over the last few sessions we were in an uptrend that played out. Okay. So this uptrend played out on all levels, and we, after reaching this up measure move, we went into a two-legged move down. So overnight we had this spike down, which is the second leg of the down measure move after the uptrend played out. Keep in mind we are also in a higher higher, bigger picture uptrend, so there's still room to this trend line here. But as you can see, after having this downtrend here, we have a spike up, which acts as a break, and then we get to attempt at a new low here. It finds some support at first, but then it pushes and it retests this measure move here, and then it bounces again, which is clear indication that there is some support forming at this area, and it manages to push through this trend line, but it does not go very far. It looks like it's finding some resistance around this measure move here. So after these two legs down, you have one attempt to go higher, which fails, and then it pushes back below the EMA, and yeah, it retests this again, trying to create a larger measure move to a new low, but again it finds support on this area and it bounces once again, and it really tries to go once more for another attempt at this new low. I think this is a good trade because at this point you are having this downtrend, right? It played out with two legs to a new low, and this is the first attempt to reverse to go higher. It has a break, and this is the second attempt to reverse to go higher, which fails here. So this is one attempt to reverse, second attempt to reverse. This is quite a strong failure, and you still have this down measure move in place. So I think it's good for one-to-one, but you need to keep your target to these lows because there's clearly support forming here. Alright, so after testing this level once again, you have 4 attempts to break this level which failed. It clearly spikes up. So you are coming off the overnight low, so you should be shifting bias towards bullish side. So this spike initially has this small break, then it has 2 attempts to make a new low, and then this small break becomes a larger break like this, which yeah, maybe one thing to clarify is that when you get this reversal from this bottom, you project the measure move. You see it finds some resistance first, manages to push through, and then it retests it from above. So you'll see here you have this area. It's a failed second entry long, and it looks like it's going for a retest here. And then even this downtrend played out with two legs. So when this push above the EMA and above the previous break measure move happens, I think it's fine to go for a long, because this sharp spike up coming after this triple test here indicates that bullish moment, bullish presence in the market, and uh, you most likely will get attempts to make a new high for this spike. You have the break that you are looking for, and you even have an overshoot of that break and a strong push above the EMA. You expect at least this area here to happen here as well. So the break you have here, sorry, the overshoot, you expect it as well on the other side. So something like this, right? And then there are two options. What it reaches this level, you should be cautious of how it reacts. If it pushes back, then this break might become larger, something like this, right? But if it just finds some resistance, but then it pushes back up, it looks like both are winning. So you may want to look for longs at that moment. So yeah, as I mentioned, I think it's a good idea to keep this in one-to-one. And once this happens, there's one thing to consider is that price really struggled, and even though it attempted to make a new low here, you see it has one large attempt, second large attempt, and it even tried again for that second leg down. When it fails, market has a tendency to create a measure move in the opposite direction. Now, in this case, let's say here, you get two large legs up. Start with this leg, has a break. This is the second leg. And even here, you see how well it fits. It really created two legs up to go for a new test of this high. It manages to swipe the overnight high level before reversing down. And here, it's a very good looking trade, because if you think about the last days, you see we are clearly ranging between these levels. And in here you have two large you have a large measure move up. It reaches this level, it swipes, and immediately it rushes below the EMA, and it forms a very nice looking fair second entry long here. So once it does this pattern, we have first attempt higher, this is the second attempt higher, and this is the failure, a push below the EMA, strong push, very bearish, below the previous measure move levels. So I think this is really good for one-to-one, even for one-to-one to the swing high. Maybe you would want to be cautious here, but the way I see it is a very good reversal area to attempt to reach this, to range back into this low. So now after this happens, you need to see how it reacts at this measure move. So the way I think about it is that we may have a potential uptrend, and this is the potential uptrend we're looking at. If this was the case, we would see this overshot. No, it didn't. It was close, so it reached that area. So you really need to pay attention to this area here, because this area, because here is the potential uptrend line, and also here is the measure move down. So if this area manages to hold, most likely the uptrend may continue for a while. But if it just finds some initial support, but then it manages to break down, then it's a sign that the bears are stepping in. So you may have some more downside. Alright, so it manages to push through this area, it tests this level here, it pushes back up, so you're considering a potential range here. And this break here, it acts as a break for this entire uptrend, and when it bounces in here, you may expect two attempts to make a new high for this uptrend. So This is the first attempt, this is the second attempt, and at the same time, when it pushes through this, you may expect a larger break to form here. So like this, right? These are the two things that are on the cards here. So you expect something like this, let's say, which would make them two legs to a new high for this uptrend to play out, or you are expecting these two legs to fail, which is the case here. In that case, this becomes active, which is two larger legs to form a break for this potential uptrend or to go back into the range. So knowing that, you basically watch the price action, see what it does. Does it manage to make a new high? Yes or no? In this case, it didn't. So once you see the rejection here, I don't think it's good enough to go for a short already, although it looks like you can have the idea of a larger fair second entry. But it could easily just go down here, then create another leg up here. So what I would like to see to take this is one leg up, maybe another attempt, and then end bearishly to go short. But yeah, the price action pushing down here, it's really telling, because it's really showing you that it wants to create and to go for this larger break here. So it did not manage to make these two legs up. Most likely it will attempt to make these two larger legs down. So what happens is we have this spike here, and you can see that it finds support at the bottom of this low, right? It pushes again into this uptrend. This uptrend plays out with one leg, two legs to new high. It has a break, which is leg down, break, one leg down, second leg down to play this downtrend, and it pushes again, creating a larger two-legged move up. So one leg, break, second leg up, and it finds resistance at this area. With this down measure move in play, I think this is a good area to go short, because you also have this larger picture, fair second entry long. So here we have one attempt higher, second attempt higher, at the top of the range after a clear push down, holding on this potential downtrend line and strongly pushing below the EMA. So I think it's a good trade, and I would take it 1-to-1 because you have this level here which acted as a support. Alright, so with this measure move in play and seeing that it failed to make a new high, which now it's like this, it failed to make a new high here, it had a larger break, it failed to make a new high again here. So you're pushing down, and there are these levels you want to pay attention to. You have this level here, which initially provided support, but now it's broken through. Then you have this down measure move level here, but you see there's no trouble for the price to push through, and then it retests it from underneath. So when this happens, you should consider that this larger trend may be in play. So it had an overshoot. This is a break, it retested it, and I would like here something like this to go short. So a clear two-legged retest to carry on down towards the bottom of the range. But it doesn't form, it just has one spike up, a small second leg, and then it just pushes below. If you are thinking about this area here, it may work, but it could easily have done this. Have a break, so one leg, have a break, and then push for the second leg, right? And then reject. So this is the setup I would expect to take, but in this format here, I don't think it's a good entry, because yeah, it could trap you. So what happens is that this downtrend here plays out with this leg here. So it spike up, it has one leg, second leg to a new low at this point, and then you see a spike. So one more thing to see is that after it makes this low, it has this two-legged move and push below the EMA. So you may consider a short here. It looks good from a pattern point of view, but there's also this thing to consider. So you see this potential downtrend really provided support at this area, right? And even here you have one bounce close to bouncing it. Even here it provided some reaction, and then it pushed off this downtrend line lower. So there's clearly some price discovery here. And if you think about this larger downtrend, this smaller downtrend here is really an overshoot of this downtrend. So when this happens, you cannot expect indefinitely for the price to go lower. Although, yeah, in this case, it could go lower to the range lows. Just remember that you are still in a larger uptrend, sorry. And yeah, it's a bit tricky to go here because price could do this. So break one attempt lower, second attempt lower to go for that, or it could just trap you like it happened here and create one attempt lower, second attempt lower failure and go for a larger break, which happened here. So if you consider this as an overshoot, you need to be cautious about entering short here. And if you think about this trade, you need to push the target a bit. It's a bit, yeah, it's tough one to take because this spike down really played out with these two legs. So it's a good reversal area. Actually, if you think about it, what could price do here? So when you see this spike up back above the EMA, and especially after closing above this trend line, price is doing the following. It's either creating a larger break like this, or it's reversing altogether. So as long as you keep your target up to this area, you should be good for a long. But in this case, you see it created a larger break. It struggled a bit at first at this level, but it managed to push through. Then it had a two-legged break. This is just one leg if you think about it. So in order to go long, you may want to wait for another leg. So this fits within one channel. Just one retest, it bounces through. This is the second retest. So once you see this, you're having here, you have a fair second entry short. Holding on top of this measure moves, I think it's a good area to go long. Because this break held, right? It pushed through and it retested it, and you consider the overshoot for this downtrend. You would expect a move of equal size from here to here in the other direction, something like that, or at least this trend line to be broken. So when it does that, a lot of times, maybe something I've noticed to point out is that when the second leg of a measure move is overshot and it holds on top of it or under it, depending on the direction, a lot of times larger measure moves are formed from that. So in this case, it would be here, here. This is one level, and once this initial uptrend plays out, with in this case with two legs to a new high, right? This entire leg becomes one leg, and you would get another. And even if you look at it, eventually it becomes like this, because these two legs are actually the ones playing out, and this spike, but then this entire leg is playing out by these two larger legs. One leg, second leg, right? So these two legs played out the uptrend, and as I mentioned, when these measure moves are overshot and held on top of, a larger move may form, especially if the context is right. So you expect some bullish presence here because overall you are in a big uptrend. You have this overshoot of this downtrend, and you would expect the price to reach and break this downtrend top line, which ended happening. So this is a break eventually. It just chopped in this area quite a bit between this down measure move target and the previous day close before pushing higher and reaching that measure move. So this second leg, you can see it here, it has a break and it plays out with two legs to a new high. So here's the break, one leg higher, second leg higher. So once it reaches this up measure move, you would like to see how it reacts. If it pushes below, you may consider going short for this downtrend to play out. If it pushes above and you get, let's say, a push above and a hold on top of this, you may continue going long to make a new high for this downtrend. So you need to see how price reacts. In this case, it created a sharp spike down and just one push higher before pushing down some more. So it's a bit hard to, I don't see an entry here. And you also must consider this potential uptrend forming. So yeah, this uptrend overshot had a spike down, but here, however, you see you have a nice fail second entry long and a close here. So I think this is good because you have this downtrend still in play. You're coming off the top of the range, potentially going for the bottom of the range, and you have a clear two-legged move down after an overshoot of this uptrend. And these two legs here, they also represent two attempts to make a new high for this uptrend. So once it closes below, I think this is good to go for 1-to-1. Okay, and this forms this larger down measure move. All right. So what do we have so far? You have two legs down, a spike, another attempt to make a new low, another spike. So the way I see it, this measure move is still in play. It's just that these spikes don't really offer any entries. The price is just going up and down, but not clearly forming any patterns. So at this point you are in the middle of the range, and you have bulls trying to create a second leg up for this uptrend. So this uptrend, break, one leg higher, break. Now bulls are trying to create a new leg higher to reach this top of the range, and you have one leg here, second leg here. So two attempts to make a new high, failure. And even this failure, I think this is a good entry. And the reason for that is that at this point you have these two attempts to make a new high here. So you're thinking at them as two attempts to make a new high, and you're looking at how it reacts at this level. If it pushes through and retests on top of it, something like this, then it's most likely attempting to make a new high. Since it reacted so well on this just becomes a break for this downtrend, and you're expecting this move to happen basically. So you have one leg down, a break, and you would expecting the second leg down to make a new low for this downtrend here, which ended happening. Right. So I think this is why when this fails, also considering that yeah, once it closes below this, I think this is a good trade to take, because it's yeah, you are expecting this down measure move to be in play. That's it.